Hey guys, I want to take a few minutes to go over the course project with you. This right now is just an overview of the whole thing so that you are aware of the entire process from start to finish. Okay? So what the course project is for this course is to write a well-developed literary analysis essay, roughly 3 to 5 pages in length, not including the title page or the references page, because this will be in APA format. So that's 3 to 5 pages of actual essay. Right? That is just a guideline. I would say you really should plan on having at least 3 pages. And you probably won't need to go over 5. So that really is a good guideline for you, keeping it between 3 and 5 pages, right? The project will be broken down into 3 parts so that you can kind of tackle each section as we learn about different elements of writing a literary essay. Okay? You're going to receive separate assignment sheets for each part. They'll be assigned different weeks. There'll be a set of instructions for that part. They'll each have their own points associated with it, their own submission requirements, things like that, their own grading criteria. You'll find out what those are as each one is assigned. But for right now, I want to go through just real briefly what each part is. Remember, as was explained when I went over the course syllabus, you must complete each project part in order to pass the course. So there are 3 parts to the course project. You have to submit all 3 parts in order to pass the class. Okay? So, project part 1 is going to be your working thesis and plan of development. So the first step on the journey is to select which story you're going to use for your essay. You'll be choosing from The Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin and Hills Like White Elephants by Ernest Hemingway. So the 2 stories that we have been working very closely with, those are the 2 that you have to choose from. You will choose just one of them, not both, just one. And you're going to write your literary essay on that story. In project part 1, you're going to tell me which story you want to use. You're going to have tell me what your working thesis statement is and what your tentative main points are going to be and what your tentative pieces of evidence are going to be, details from the story. All right, so it's going to be assigned for homework in week 5. I will review your submission during week 6, give you feedback on it, let you know if you're heading in the right direction or if I see any kind of issues or problems. And that way we'll know ahead of time and have enough time to fix those issues and get you on the right path. Project part 1 is worth 50 points, right? It's just going to be graded against standard homework assignment criteria. So if you complete the whole thing, you get the full amount of points. If sections are missing, then you'll start to lose points, that sort of thing. It falls under the course project grading category. Remember, the course project, the whole thing, is worth 50% of your overall grade. Project part 1 is worth 10% of that 50%. Okay? You must submit project part 1 and receive my feedback on it before moving on to project part 2. It is a required course component and must be completed in order to pass the class, so you have to submit project part 1. But you have to wait until you get my feedback on it to move on to project part 2. Got it? Project part 2, pretty self-explanatory. It's the rough draft, okay? So you're going to get my feedback on your working thesis statement and your plan of development, and then you're going to get the go-ahead to start writing the rough draft. You might start writing the rough draft before it's been officially assigned, and that's fine. Or you might wait until the week that it is officially assigned and then type up your rough draft. Also fine. Either way works. But it will be, you know, you're going to be receiving feedback from me, detailed feedback. I mean, I'm talking like it will help you immensely, the feedback that I will give you on that rough draft. Okay? It's imperative that you submit that project part on time. Now, late submissions, if you turn in project part 2 late, you'll still receive credit, and you can still revise to turn in project part 3, but if you're waiting until the last minute to do some of these things, that doesn't give me much time to give you good feedback to revise and get a better grade, and it is worth 50% of your overall grade. So if you can get the rough draft, if you can get project part 2 submitted on time, then it will be to your own benefit. It will be assigned for homework in week 7. Okay? And then I'll review your drafts during week 8. And by the start of week 9, if not sooner, you will have my feedback on project part 2. You'll have my feedback on your rough draft and know what you need to do to make improvements on it, to revise it for the final draft. Okay? It is worth 25 points, and it is worth 15% of the 50% that the whole course project is worth. Okay? And remember, it is a required course component. You have to submit project part 2 in order to pass the class, and you have to receive my feedback on it in order to move on to project part 3. Project part 3 is, of course, the final draft. Okay? You'll be asked to revise based on the feedback I give you. You will submit a final polished draft for project part 3. It will be assigned as homework in week 9. It's due by the start of week 10. Week 10, you have 4 days of that week. Week 10 starts on a Monday. You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And Thursday night at midnight is when everything for the class has to be turned in. The course closes that Thursday night at midnight. There will be a couple of other things that you need to take care of in week 10. Plus, I want to make sure that I have ample time to grade these final drafts. So you're going to submit the final draft. You're going to submit project part 3 by the beginning of week 10. That gives me 4 days to grade them, and it gives you 4 days to complete all of the other loose ends that we still have for the course. Okay? It is worth 100 points, and it is worth 75% of that overall 50% that the course project is worth. And remember, it is a required course component. You have to submit project part 3 in order to pass the course. Okay? So that's what we have in store. Project part 1 is just choosing which story you want to work with, coming up with a working thesis, and telling me your plan of development. Project part 2 is the rough draft. Project part 3 is the final draft. Okay? I want to mention one other thing, though, right away, and I will probably mention this every time a course project part is assigned to you, but I want to mention it now as well. Keep in mind that everything you submit for this project should be your own ideas and words. You will refer to the story you have chosen, of course, and you can also rely on our lessons throughout the term to assist you, so the PowerPoints and video lessons and the assignments that we've done. But you should not refer to any other outside sources for this project. This project is designed to show that you know how to analyze a piece of literature, not that you can repeat what others have already published. When it is time to submit your rough draft, project part 2, I will be using a program where I upload upload your essay to check to make sure that it has not been plagiarized from another source. Okay? If anything is found to be copied or borrowed from an outside source without being properly cited, you will receive a 0 on the draft and asked to redo it. If anything is found to be borrowed from an outside source, but it is at least cited properly, you won't be asked to redo the whole draft, but you will be asked to take that part out when you revise. What you submit should be 100% yours, with some collaboration among your classmates and me. Okay? That's it. And I will use a program to determine if anything has been copied or borrowed from outside sources. I don't think anyone wants to put in double the time and effort, so please be sure to do your own work for the course project and trust that you're already prepared for it, that you can do it. Okay? Alright, so that is an overview of the course project. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know, but otherwise, just wait and hang in there, and as each part gets assigned, then you can come to me with specific questions as well.